me start the recording. And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to a very special ISWH investor update. Let's just jump into it. Who's on the call with us?
Robert Colazzo, Bit5. How you doing, everyone?
Hey, we got Alonzo here.
This is Brett Rosen.
Deborah Braun. Brett and I are with RB Capital.
And obviously, John Carr, Waypoint.
Perfect.
Frat Boy John.
Oh, my ego. So, look, let's just jump right into it. What's going on, guys? It's been a little while. It's been even longer for the investors. You guys have a lot of exciting stuff going on. One, congratulations. I saw the Coinbase article.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
So, look, before we kind of have a bit of an itinerary, which is good because I like to ramble. But before we jump into that, how the hell did you guys pull that off? Bitmain, that's huge.
Well, that's all those praise back go to Robert Colazzo, Bit5, who already had those relationships, and as we continue to get closer to some of the goals we set out for ourselves, he felt like it was time to move the needle a little further up. So Robert is Robert. That's all Robert there. That's his answer there for you.
So, you know what? Before we get into that, Alonzo, why don't you give us a bit of a rundown on the telehealth stuff? What you got going on with that?
Well, telehealth is still coming along. As you know, that it's been pretty much our base for the last several years. We continually, we growing the patient base. Right before COVID was a pivotal moment for us because that's when pretty much everyone stopped going to the hospitals and was staying away from the hospitals, and you needed those special care services. So we increased the staff, of caregivers at that point. So it's still growing. It's still trying to get some things ironed out when it comes to the technology piece, because the as far as billing goes and and those in-house services, they're still trying to calibrate themselves. But all in all, it's still a pretty good business for us. It's just now the course has changed a bit, a lot, because our bottom line is about to totally increase, in mining and hosting. So, but back to the healthcare. It's there. It's growing. It's going to continue to grow because the services are going to continue to be needed, and we will just continue to operate that business.
Awesome, man. Thanks for the update. I know a lot of people are asking about that. So let's kind of jump right into the big thing here, which is the Bitmain deal. So, Robert, what is the time frame to get all those miners up and running? How many was it again?
Approximately 56,000 miners. It's all dependent on which models we're going to be getting. My understanding is we're going to be getting all the S19s, 100 and above. So right around 56,000 miners. We expect to start deploying these miners towards the end of this year, leading up to the end of 2022. But that's the count that we have agreed on.
And what's the revenue look like on that?
The revenue from the miners themselves, or
I think in this specific one, what's the split for ISWH and you don't have to give specific numbers, maybe a percentage. Bit5, ISWH, and Bitmain.
I don't want to get into numbers and details, but I believe the annual gross revenue is approximately about 100 million.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been working hard here in the trenches since our last conversation. I kind of hinted in the last call that we were working on a lot of big things, and this has been in the making for quite a bit of time, and due to the long-term relationship that we've had with Bit5 since pretty much their beginning. It's put us in a position in which we could bring this to the table, and it's very exciting for us. It's very exciting for ISWH, and it's also very exciting for Bitmain. Fortunately, position in which we're able to pretty much help everybody out at this point. So I think it puts everybody in a good position. We're extremely excited. There's a lot of work ahead. There's a lot of commitment, and that's what we're here to do. And it's very exciting time.
So, I mean, let me ask you: you got Bitmain. You've got articles going everywhere from Coinbase to, Forbes, for example. What's next for you guys? I mean, we're seeing this huge exodus away from China as they start to do the crackdown. Are you guys getting more and more calls about like, hey, we see what you're doing here. We want a piece. We want in.
Yeah, it's nonstop. Our obviously our commitment and our partnership is with Bitmain. So our main focus is really creating the infrastructure that we need for them. Their priority. They'll have first dibs on everything that we have and everything that we do moving forward, on top and above and beyond what we're doing now with them. So yes, we are getting a lot of calls. We are getting a lot of demand for power for everything that we do. But our commitment is with Bitmain, and that's what we're focused on right now. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built out in a very rapid pace. So we're gonna be focusing here in the near future on making sure that we build the best infrastructure that we can for our partners, and that's really our main focus. There will be some opportunities for us down the line to diversify into different niches in the marketplace, but right now our main focus is fulfilling our commitment of building the best infrastructure that we possibly can for our partners.
So let's talk about partnership a little bit more. I don't know how much you'll be able to share, but what's everybody kind of bringing to the table on this? I mean, we know Bitmain's kind of bringing the miners and the money. What is Bit5 doing? What's ISWH doing?
So Bit5 is basically we're the company that's designing and engineering all the facilities, all the projects, pretty much everything from A to Z. We'll be working with local partners in all the designated areas that we'll be developing these projects. But we will be the ones that are going to be engineering and designing every project from A to Z. And then once we complete these developments or these mining farms, then we're going to roll right into the management side of things. So that's our main job, is creating the infrastructure, managing the infrastructure once it's complete. Bitmain's obligation is obviously to bring in their miners, and ISWH is the one that'll be funding these projects in order for us to build out these farms.
And since you brought up funding, what is the total cost to get the whole 200 megawatt project up and running?
Speculatively, we're looking at about 150 million in build out. Obviously, these numbers will be fine tuned as we move along, but somewhere around that mark is what we're looking at.
And what's the estimated revenue per month on that?
Our gross revenue from the mining, once again, or from the actual post?
I think what we're going to, John, we have a press release that's coming out that's outlining those numbers, and yesterday we were talking about those numbers that they better served out in the press release as far as the revenues, and how they benefit the different sides. So that was our plan, to release those numbers in a PR.
Oh, no worries, no problem at all. So let's see. Let me see where we're at here. All right, so let's kind of jump into just Bit5 in general. Rob, how many miners do we have right now?
So you guys have a total of close to 600 miners. We actually just received batches of new S19s and new Avalons. We should start going live with those on Thursdays. I'm sorry, this Thursday. So we'll be ramping that up here in the next couple of days. We have gone and made some modifications to the pods in order to retrofit the new generation S19 and Avalons. So we'll be looking at a combination of the new S19s, the Avalons, and the existing S17s, approximately 600 in total.
And where are these miners specifically located?
These are in Pennsylvania.
And the hash rate?
Total hash rate, I believe, is around 56,000. 56,000 in total. When we go live with all of them, we'll be approximately 56,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, AP, what do you think the revenue numbers are for that? Are you allowed to share that now, or?
Actually, I'm sorry. I'll speak for Alonzo. That's very easy to calculate at today's numbers. You're approximately looking anywhere between 500,000 to 600,000 a month.
Wow, that's great. Seriously, congratulations. How hard was it to do the retrofit?
You know, we had to do some retrofitting on the PDUs. It's really more on the density side. If you've seen our pods, we contain the hot and cold aisle, and it was just a matter of, you know, making some adjustments on the density because of size and so forth. So it really wasn't complicated. These pods are built so we can make adjustments when needed. So, you know, our guys are pretty used to doing that. So it's really not a hard task.
Wow. So, I mean, look, obviously, none of this is free, right? It's it comes with a substantial amount of funding. So I kind of want to pivot over to RB Capital for a minute and just touch base a little bit more on that. Brett and Deborah, you guys have a minute?
Oh yeah, of course. We're here.
So, you know, obviously, your name's kind of been thrown around a lot. You guys kind of helped take this to the next level in terms of funding. Can you guys give us a little bit more insight on what the terms of this kind of funding looks like?
Yeah, sure. Not a problem at all. I mean, Alonzo said that it was okay if we talk about this, and this is so we'll talk about the terms of like how the whole deal is going to get funded, how it's not going to be diluted to the shareholders, how, you know, that kind of thing. Basically,
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you just heard $150 million. It's going to take, you know, a year and a half to build everything out. I get it, or a year or whatever. So the money doesn't need to happen on day one all at once. So what we're doing is a combination of two different things. Okay, basically, like 15 to 20% of the money that we loan will be on a convertible note. Okay, and that will be at actually, I'm sorry. 5 to 10% of the money that we loan will be on a convertible note. And that'll be at a minimum conversion price of $2 per share, and it won't convert for 1 year till after issuance. Now, I mean, that's the part where it's linked to the stock. The majority of it, so in other words, the 90 to 95% of the money is essentially going to be short-term bridge loans.
On very favorable terms.
On very, very, very favorable terms. I mean, the average bridge loan, you're looking at like, you know, 15 to 22, 23, 24 maximum percent. We're doing it for like a flat rate, 5% interest. That's it. Payable back. The company pays the money back directly. No issuance of stock, no reservation of shares, no dilution, nothing.
No prepayment penalties, none of that nonsense that you see in a lot of these short-term loans.
Yeah, exactly. Because the whole purpose of this is essentially so that this whole deal can get funded without adding a whole bunch of new ridiculous shares into the market, number one. And then number two, if all this revenue pours in without dilution and all this money pours in, I think we all know what happens to the stock price.
Yeah, essentially nothing's stopping it, and we're giving the company all the juice so that it can just do its thing.
And I mean, let me just add that. I mean, if you're looking for like an example of it. So just for example, yesterday, we wired $2.6 million to the company yesterday on these exact terms that we just discussed.
So actually, we just saw a pretty good question come in the chat. Is Bitmain going to provide any additional capital, or is it going to be mostly Bit5 and ISWH?
No, Bitmain will, in this particular structure, Bitmain will not be providing capital for the exception of their deposits and their commitment towards the hosting.
Oh, great. I'm glad we were able to. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, which is still obviously considerable amounts of money. So obviously as money comes in and everything comes in other words, it's not $150 million at one time. Like ISWH is obviously able to use it like a revolving line of credit, so to speak. So hey, we might need $13 million right now. We might need $11 million now. You're not going to need 150 day one, but this way it's kind of like recycling the same amount of money over and over again, more or less. So
right,
it's
and
not
it's
a pool of
scalable.
150. It's exactly, and since it's not happening all at one time. It's happening over the course of let's be honest. It's going to take until probably I think Robert's initial projections were sometime around October of till everything is online, and that's a year and a half or a year and 15 months from now, whatever it is. So I think that recycling this money over and over again without having to dilute it, without having to do an S1 or Reg A, all this nonsense that does nothing but hurt the shareholders and hurts the stock price in the long run. So everyone sells their stock day one. This is a way to fund let's be honest. For a pink sheet company to fund themselves $100 million plus without the stock is unheard of.
No, it's insane. If you told me that a year ago, I would have told you it was bullshit. So before we jump into anything else, I do kind of want to ask. There are guys that give far less favorable terms and beat the hell out of the stock a lot more. I'm a little shocked to see a firm doing terms like this. Is it just because you guys are this confident in the deal, or?
It's a combination of a couple things. Number one, Alonzo and Robert. That's like the dream team.
We invest in the people always, and the home runs are always when you have the right team in place, and we are 100% confident that this is the right team.
Correct.
So let's see. All right. So actually, here's a really good question that I saw. Yes, I did swear. Are you going to call me a frat boy again?
Tempting.
So, Alonzo, ball's in your court now.
Okay.
Rebranding. You guys are now pretty much one of the the giants in the crypto industry. Do you guys have any plans on rebranding accordingly?
Well, of course, yeah. We put out a release yesterday. We're working on a name change. We filed it with FINRA now. New QSIP numbers. The state of Nevada. We wanted to basically just kind of reflect more on the company's core commitment now, which is hosting and mining. So that's what the rebranding aspect of the idea came about, because now it's time, like I say, the course of change is upon us, and there's a lot of changes that needs to be made just so that we could wear the right uniform for the duty that we've been called upon. So, we started the process. It's in the hopper, waiting for the exact date that FINRA will give you for activation, and then there we go.
So let me ask you a question. You guys are doing the ticker change. That obviously takes a little while. You have to wait for your approval on that. So for the website and everything else, do you guys have a timeline of, hey, it's going to be 3 months to deployment, a year? Obviously, you have to do Twitter rebranding.
We have a landing page up right now. We have some information on that. You're right. As far you could pick a ticker, but still at the end of the day, you give 3 submissions, and FINRA is going to give you the one. You got a good shot getting what you want, but really it's what they give you. But the website, working on it. We're going to have a very, very nice website with a good, clean experience. That's pretty much aligned with the top other mining companies that will show all of the intricate pieces of the hashing, the powers, the Bitcoins information, just a full experience, So yes, we have one in the hopper. and it won't take that long. I think probably within 30 days you'll see it.
Wow, that is a fantastic timeline.
Oh yeah, we're working.
So how long has this been in the works for? Because clearly this is not a last minute idea. If you guys are that far along.
Well, we kind of had to put on our running shoes when that point that the ISW basically just a breakdown of what the original name was, right? Kick the spirit and the wellness aspect of it, for this purpose. And so we struggled with it a little bit because we know we came this far under that name and ticker, but we're glad with the decision that we've made because we know we did the shareholders, the funders, RB Capital. We know we made them proud just by making the right decision to go that route.
So, to kind of keep in the stock talk specifically, and while I have you, you had mentioned a while ago doing a stock buyback. Can you give us any more information on that?
Well, yeah. I tell you, there's so much going on, and while it still very much is a plan, just kind of want to get a lot of these other things in perspective, and then we'll, kind of get back to that idea. But, it's still needs to have its follow. We will follow through with it, but it's just to buy back a couple of, just for example, a couple of million back out of the float, retire them into the corporate broker's account, and just do away with that like on a monthly or bi-monthly basis, just to to keep the float down. So it's just a process of buying back a couple, or one every other month, is million shares, and just retire them to Treasury.
All right. So you guys are going through the rebranding. You're focusing on stock buybacks, which is fantastic. I think the next question that everybody and their mother's been asking for is the uplist to the QB.
So, the QB again, it comes on the heels of a registration statement that we have to file, and we went through the process. We were basically, we were approved, and they wanted us to eliminate, the toxic debts off the books. This will be the quarter coming up will show that we eliminated, because I guess by the time we eliminated, the quarter had already gone into the next. So now we'll show OTC that we took care of their demand from that aspect, as well as file the registration that pretty much stamps what we did as legitimacy, that we actually did get rid of the toxic debt that they had a problem with, and they had a name or two of a few, and we took care of those. Thanks to RB Capital again.
And everybody knows the names of the companies, but we won't say them. But they're all gone.
Yeah.
If you guys send a box of glitter to them, no one's gonna cry about it. That's all we're saying. All right. So what about? And I may get a little flack for asking this. Do we have an update on the Form 10?
I think Alonzo has to answer that one.
Oh, sorry about that.
No,
we have a quarter that's due on the 15th, so it will be we should have it done by the end of, because the lawyer can't do anything with it until he has this quarter in his hand. So we're working. We're putting all of the subsequent events properly, to give us the foundation that we need, to really show that being not just a viable company, but we have a business, and we have a long-term goal along with that business. So That's always been, the plan. I think it was great that, and many times as much as we wanted to, I think patience paid off because now we have the foundations to really even show the SEC that we are a real company, and we're here to do business and to grow and not just be overnight success, but something that has some tenure to it.
So do you see NASDAQ as a very real opportunity in the coming years?
Hey, absolutely. I tell you, we I can't quote him spot on the way Brett calls it. I guess the rule, but I can tell you that from an asset perspective, we have that. We have the shareholders, and we will have the share price. So, but I always thought that the key to it all was to get the amount of business that it called for you to be, listed and substantially taken seriously. And I think with the partnership with Bitmain and Bit5, we've secured that goal right there.
All right. Well, look, at this point, we've been going at it for about 20, 30 minutes. I don't know about you guys. I feel fairly confident that we can open it up to the floor without any shenanigans. What do you guys think?
I guess we'll say yes.
All right. Let's see. We'll go through questions that had already been asked because I'll be fair, and then we'll open it up to the chat. All right. Actually, here's a really good one from Zeta. This is probably going to be a question for Robert and Alonzo. It says, in a recent PR, it was stated that ISWH entered into a joint venture with Bit5 to design and build the latest concept of the Pod 5. Could you guys provide any details on this collaboration?
Actually, John, to add to that, there's it's not only the Pod 5. We've been working constantly on innovation and coming up with new concepts that will not only retrofit Bitcoin miners, but also other forms of mining opportunities. And that's something that we continue working on. And a lot of this is still in the preliminary engineering and design phase. And some of these projects that we're currently working on are not only for crypto, but can also offer services for processing other types of data. I don't want to get too much into it because it's still too early in the game, but we are working on several different alternatives when it comes to the infrastructure, not just the pod itself.
So you mentioned projects that at least immediately sent everybody into a fury. Could you give us some kind of information on the Everest project?
Well, I don't want to get too much into the Everest project, but that is the largest project currently in the United States. It's going to be 100% renewable energy. Obviously, that's also a Bitmain deal, and that is going to start deployments also at the end of this year. And that's also a very exciting project ahead.
Great, let's see. Sorry, chat's moving very fast. Give me 1 minute. Oh, actually, here's a really great one. Baby asks, what was the biggest takeaway from the conference that you can share? Aside from you guys kind of breaking the whole industry with that announcement.
Well, look, from my end, I thought it was a great opportunity for some of the shareholders to meet and greet us and ask the right questions. And we did have a lot of shareholders that came up to our booth, and they spent the time with us, and they dedicated some time in learning more about us and so forth. And I'm very happy with them taking that time, and I think they were very impressed with what we do and what we're doing. And I think that was my biggest thing, just taking the opportunity to speak with some of these shareholders that actually took the time to fly down to Miami and go to the conference and actually meet with us.
Yeah, I double that. I thought it was cool to meet, to be able to put a face with a name with some of the guys off of the Waypoint like Matt and Derek, who basically live in my backyard, and to be able to meet and talk to them, and as from the other companies, the other mining companies there, really just put a tag that this is serious, and this industry is truly going somewhere, and it's smart, and it's only going to get big. I was totally excited about that.
And just to chime in on that, I want to say it was really great to get to personally meet Matt and Derek. They were just such great ambassadors of the company and such big supporters, and really took that contest winning and leveraged it to its utmost, and went and visited all the various booths, educated themselves, very personable, very good people. So thanks for being great guests, you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Florida was a blast. Meeting you guys was a total blast. And just for you guys wondering, I am a real person. They can confirm it.
Yep.
Yep.
We met him in the flesh.
I saw him eat food. It wasn't a robot or anything. He actually ate food. I promise you.
You ate slowly, but you still ate.
Oh, excuse me. I would have ate faster if they had a red stripe.
That would have taken ages to get at that Miami restaurant.
So, Robert, let me ask you another question. And actually, I really like this one. We talked about you retrofitting the pods for the new units. How long does it take you guys to build out a fully functioning Pod 5?
We're ramping up our production scale fairly quickly. As you guys know, the biggest issue right now is the supply chains. We've locked in Siemens, Raptor, Maddox, and so forth, and we're really working on ramping up supply chain, which is our biggest issue. The biggest issue really is not building these pods; it's just waiting for the hardware to come in. We just moved into a larger facility, which everyone on here is more than welcome to visit. We do tours all the time, so that's something that the shareholders could participate if they like. But yeah, we're ramping up fairly quickly. I think our goal is to produce about 20 of these pods a month.
So to kind of tie this back into the whole Bitmain thing, see, you guys had like 200 megawatts of power allocated, and obviously you have these pods that you're building out for this. Are they taking all of it? Like, I know we had a couple other companies that were interested in working with us. Is it kind of now hey, we kind of got to take care of the 800-pound gorilla before we can work with you guys, or is it now just trying to get maybe a secondary contract, or how are you guys handling that?
I'll be honest with you, our commitment obviously is with Bitmain. They get first dibs on everything that we do. So basically, it'll work on a first right of refusal. Any capacity that we obtain, they get the ability to take it first. So the answer is we're currently not working with any other companies but Bitmain.
Oh, I like that answer. I don't know about you guys. Let's see. Sucks for their competitors, but it's a really good deal for them. Let's see. All right. Everybody wants to know. We might as well just get it over with. Is ISWH involved in the Everest project?
No, and the answer is no. Everest is a completely different project. That project is Bit5, Bitmain, and our other company called Manhattan Solar Power. So the answer is currently no.
Okay. To continue that conversation, there's been some questions about how you guys are doing this in a renewable format. Something that Elon Musk mentioned. OZSC, which is another stock that Waypoint represents, just signed on to, be part of the board for a cleaning future for mining. How are you guys handling that with your pods currently? Can you share a little bit more about that? I mean, you mentioned a solar company.
Everything that we're doing is renewable or clean, whether it's wind, solar, or hydro and nuclear. That's been our focus, and it really was our focus from before this whole Elon thing popped up. So to answer that question, everything that we're doing moving forward or deploying is either 100% renewable or clean energy.
Obviously there's a good relationship with you guys and Bitmain right now. Is this and there were some hints to it in the past. I mean, as they continue to shift over, do you guys think that the relationship's gonna get stronger, or do you feel like you guys are gonna be able to support the capacity that they're looking for?
Oh yeah. Like I said, this has been a long time in the making. This didn't happen overnight. We've been working on this for quite a bit of time, and we've established great relationships not only with government, with power companies, landowners. So this has been a combination of a lot of work and relationships for, I'd say, a good 6 to 8 months in the making.
And then another question, actually this one's for RB Capital. Why ISWH? I mean, you guys obviously love the crypto space.
I mean, honestly, like I said, we met Alonzo, and we did our due diligence. We spent I don't know 4 to 6 weeks like going over everything, signing NDAs, doing the whole 9 yards, and it was really just like I said, it's the people. Like it is. I mean, we wanted to get into this, and then we just saw like what it could be. You know what I mean? Untouched. All they needed was to get rid of a couple $1 million worth of debt, a little bit of negative drag. I mean, no more like dilution, reverse splits, none of that nonsense anymore. And this thing can fly. And we were pretty much right, because I mean, anyone who's been a shareholder long enough knows the stock was like 5, 7, 8 cents, like not super long ago. And went as high as almost $1.50. Now it's down a little bit from there, but it's like that's. I mean, I want to say we saw it from the get go, but we saw a way to get in on this from the get go in like the crypto space.
I would say that I think we just had like a little more vision or creativity when it came to this company, because a lot of investors I think would have passed given the amount of debt and the toxic debt that was on the books. And I'll admit, like, out of the two of us, I was even the one who was a little bit more of a naysayer, like, that's a lot to like tackle. And Brett was like, what this could be, like what this could become is so huge. And the more we got to know Alonzo, and then we got to know Robert, we were all in. And I'm really glad we were, because this thing is just primed and ready to take off. I mean, it already is.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that I really have to applaud you guys on, everybody, because I mean, nobody wants to say that some of it's luck. Everybody likes to say, oh, I built it all myself. Every good business is at least partially luck, right?
Yeah, of course.
You guys managed to hit it at just the perfect time where, there's obviously a global pandemic. Because of the global pandemic, there's supply shortages everywhere. It's nearly impossible for people to build what you guys have right now, because they don't have the contacts, they don't have the arrangements, they don't have the relationships.
Too far behind.
On top of that, there's a booming crypto industry, and now the largest country in the world in terms of mining capacity has said, we don't want this. And there's nobody else that really can supply it the way that ISWH can. I mean, this was just one of those things where everything lines up perfectly, and I mean, it's the perfect team for it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And look, I mean, Rob, I'm going to say this because Robert is so humble, and he's the most humble guy in the world, but he doesn't get enough credit. He spent so much time and so much effort building these relationships that without these relationships, none of this exists. Like, none of it.
Thank you, Brett. Deborah.
Yeah, this isn't something that happened overnight at all, and I think people forget that.
And I think I mentioned this on the last call. People don't understand the amount of hours and work that takes to do these things. I mean, these are massive deals, massive infrastructure. And John mentioned that there is not much power in the country to really satisfy all the demand. And we've put ourselves in a real good position due to the relationships and the hard work and honest work that we've put into the industry in the last since we started.
Well, and that's one of the things that, pat on the back to you and a pat on the back to Alonzo. when we had the first podcast, you know, he was hammering home on how important it was that we had these energy contracts, and there were people that laughed at it like, yeah, okay, that's really not that big of a deal. Look where we're at now. That is, like I said, just you couldn't wish for better timing on this. It really is fantastic. And I think one of the things to point out is, you know, it's a relationship you guys have together because you want to have it, not because you feel like you're forced to have it. You know, that those are the best kinds of relationships.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, it was all the percentages. We were laughing how right before the pandemic kicked in, we were sitting there, you know, getting to know one another, and then the pandemic came, and we were kind of forced to just kind of learn, you know, what was some of the likes and dislikes on TV. You know, just get some little nitpicking things going. But you know, you're right. Over the years, I mean, over the last year or so, I mean, you know, we've been tried, you know, and we've come through, and you know, then you know, Brett and Deborah came along, and you know, they filled in, and you know, we just continued to grow, and the thing just kept leveling up, and you know, it's I mean, you speak of an 800-pound, you know, gorilla, you know, is almost scary now, you know, because now it's time to produce, and you know, we're just excited for the opportunity, and excited to be on Waypoint and this podcast, and just wanted to thank you for this moment again, John.
No, of course. I mean, look, I'll have you guys on whenever you want. I love talking to you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look, what you guys are doing, there's not many people doing it, and there's not many people doing it well. I think really the last big question that I have for you guys is what you've already accomplished so much in such a short period of time. What does the next, 1 to 5 years look like for you guys?
I think, like Robert talked about, you know, being in a position to diversify. We think, you know, our goal is 500 megawatts. You know, and then we become very, very creative together, and you know, see what the next level looks like after that.
Okay, and Robert, same question to you.
Honestly, it's just going to be a lot of innovation. Like I said, we're working a lot of interesting stuff. You know, trying to creating infrastructure that's more efficient, infrastructure that we could build quicker, and so forth to fulfill the demands. Finding managing solutions to run and operate these facilities more efficiently and more cost effective. And as a company, that's our main focus right now, making sure that you know we build the best infrastructure in the marketplace.
Amen, Robert.
I mean, these are some great goals to have, and honestly, it's nothing crazy. I mean, you see where we're at now, and you can see the trajectory. Where okay, these guys are most likely going to hit. You know, they're going to hit the target. That's what it comes down to. And I can see why RB Capital would put, because one of the questions always becomes, you know, why are the strike prices so high? If you look at the whole picture, you kind of understand it. That this company is not, it's not a dollar stock, it's not a $2 stock. I mean, it's a NASDAQ company hiding in the OTC right now.
That's exactly right, and I tell people all the time, you know, in 1 year from right now, you're gonna wish you had millions of dollars of shares at $1.50. Do you see what I mean? Because it's gonna be $15 or something like that, and I'm gonna look like a genius. It's only in the beginning that you look stupid. But remember, if you believe in a company like that and you actually do the math and do the homework, it does reach that price. I mean, on the day that we first chose that $1.50 thing, I think one of those old note holders that come in and sold some shares, the stock price had just trickled down to like, I want to say like 23, 24, yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. And we're like, all right, we'll round it up to 30 and I'll multiply by 5. And that's literally how we came up with the $1.50 share price. And I was like, we were just like, we believe in it so much that we'll do this first like few million right now at $1.50. I mean, Alonzo thought we were crazy. He was like, is this for real? He actually thought we were nuts.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, you know, I haven't met anybody that came along this way that thought the way you guys did, and basically you educated me because, you know, yeah, you're right. I never saw that before.
Well, I mean, look, I'm sure you guys love it too. You've all seen the show Shark Tank, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
So you got to be a little crazy to invest in some of this stuff. Mark Cuban said, you know, back in 2008, if you had asked me to invest in Tesla, I would have told you were a psychopath. Now, if I could have gotten the shares for the price that they were back then, you know, it'd be a completely different story. I mean, you guys just happened to see the forest from the trees.
Wow. It almost makes me sound smart when you say it like that, but I mean, I actually prefer to go with the luck thing. It's a whole lot more believable.
Look, it's always 20% good idea, 80% luck, right?
There we go. Perfect.
Dummy back down.
Yeah.
Guys, I am out of questions that I can legally ask you. So, do you guys have anything else you want to? I see a couple of them, guys. I'd love to ask them. I'd also love to not get a call from my attorney after this saying, "What the hell?" So, I mean, look, the floor is yours. Do you guys have anything you want to share?
I mean, I'm good. I mean, this is pretty thorough. I mean, I don't know, Deborah.
Yeah, I'm also. I think, like I said, the more meat and potatoes will be in the press release. So I'm totally, again, appreciative for the moment to get on here and speak to you guys again.
Yeah, seriously. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks for setting this up, John. And
No,
thanks
of
for
course.
I appreciate it.
for sharing everything. It's all super exciting.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you, guys.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for your support, for your love, for all the hilarious memes that you keep putting in there. Really, I love this community, and I love the ISWH chat room the most at this point. It's the funniest one we have. If you guys need anything else, please let us know. Guys, again, you are welcome anytime. My name is John, and this has been... I'm not even going to do the slogan on this one. I'll see you guys later.